Most professionals trade time for money, but a synthesizer trades perspective for leverage. In a world drowning in 180 zettabytes of data, the ability to filter noise and connect disparate ideas has become the most valuable currency in the modern economy. While the average knowledge worker struggles to keep pace with an overflowing inbox, a rare class of individuals is capturing 8-figure returns by simply organizing what already exists. This analysis breaks down the mechanics of the Synthesizer Edge, a high-income framework that transforms raw information into proprietary systems, showing exactly how intellectual leverage is built from the ground up in the 21st century. The fundamental shift in the global economy has moved from the acquisition of information to the distillation of it. Decades ago, a library card was a competitive advantage. Today, anyone with a smartphone has access to the same data as a Fortune 500 CEO, yet the wealth gap continues to widen based on how that data is processed. Economists call this information arbitrage, the profit realized by moving information from where it is abundant to where it is scarce or misunderstood. Research indicates that the top 1% of earners in the creative and technical fields are no longer those who generate new facts, but those who contextualize existing ones for a specific outcome. Consider the rise of specialized consulting firms that charge upwards of $500 per hour simply to summarize complex regulatory changes into 3-page briefs. These professionals aren't writing the laws. They're synthesizing the implications, turning 1,000 pages of jargon into a single, high-stakes decision for their clients. This process relies on horizontal thinking or the ability to draw parallels between unrelated industries. When a synthesizer looks at biology and sees a model for decentralized finance, or studies architecture to solve a software engineering bottleneck, they create value that a specialist confined to one silo never could. The data confirms that cross-disciplinary skills lead to higher median salaries, with those capable of bridging the gap between technical data and executive strategy often earning a 30% premium over their peers. The market doesn't pay for what is known. It pays for what is clarified and made actionable. But here's where it gets interesting. The sheer volume of information has created a new kind of scarcity that most people are completely overlooking. In an era of infinite content, attention is the only finite resource left. The IRS and Bureau of Labor Statistics have noted a significant uptick in non-traditional professional services, a category that includes curators and high-level synthesizers who act as the gatekeepers of relevance in their respective niches. The synthesizer occupies the middle ground between the creator and the consumer. While creators produce at a rate that is impossible to follow, and consumers are paralyzed by choice, the synthesizer builds a filter. This filter is a proprietary asset that compounds in value as the noise of the internet increases. Successful digital newsletters, for instance, often reach valuations in the tens of millions without ever producing an original piece of research. Their value lies in the curation-to-conversion ratio, the ability to take 100 hours of weekly news and compress it into a 5-minute read that high-net-worth individuals can use. By selecting only the most vital information, these entities solve the problem of decision fatigue. Studies show that the average executive makes roughly 35,000 decisions a day. Any service that reduces the cognitive load of these decisions is inherently positioned for premium pricing. This isn't just about summarizing. It's about curation as an act of leadership. It involves deciding what is worth ignoring. In a world where every piece of data screams for attention, the person who can confidently say this doesn't matter becomes an indispensable advisor. The data tells a different story about how these individuals actually structure their workflow to maintain this edge, moving from mere consumption into a process of systematic architecture. To build a synthesizer's edge, one must treat information like a supply chain. It begins with raw capture, using systems to aggregate high-quality inputs from diverse fields like behavioral economics, history, and venture capital, ensuring the pipeline is never empty. The second phase is connection. This is where the synthesis actually happens. By utilizing second-order thinking, a synthesizer asks what the long-term consequences of a current trend will be. If everyone is looking at the immediate impact of a new technology, the synthesizer is looking at how that technology will change consumer psychology 3 years from now. This phase often involves a mental model approach, a framework popularized by some of the world's most successful investors. Instead of memorizing facts, They learn the underlying principles that govern reality, such as Pareto's principle or Occam's razor, and apply them to new data to find hidden opportunities. The final phase is compression. The objective is to take a complex system and reduce it to its most elegant form, a diagram, a framework, or a checklist. This compression is the product. It is the bridge that allows a non-expert to achieve expert-level results without the 10,000-hour investment. When an insight is compressed correctly, it gains viral potential. In the digital economy, a well-synthesized idea can travel across the globe at zero marginal cost, allowing a single individual to influence thousands of organizations and command a massive premium for their specialized perspective. But the true power of this skill isn't just in the knowledge itself. It's in how that knowledge is scaled into a machine that works while the synthesizer sleeps. Synthesis is the ultimate form of permissionless leverage. Unlike labor or capital, which requires someone else's agreement to scale, intellectual leverage only requires a platform. Digital media has allowed the synthesizer to productize their mind, turning a one-time synthesis into a recurring revenue stream. By creating a personal monopoly through synthesis, individuals move away from competition. If someone is the only person connecting the dots between Silicon Valley trends and European manufacturing, they have no competitors. They have a category of one. Industry data suggests that these category of one professionals can command equity stakes in the companies they advise, rather than mere flat fees. They are no longer viewed as service providers, but as strategic assets whose synthesis protects the company from obsolescence. Furthermore, the rise of artificial intelligence actually increases the value of the human synthesizer. While AI is excellent at processing data, it currently lacks the contextual wisdom to understand human nuance, timing, and multidisciplinary creative leaps, the very things a synthesizer excels at. Those who lean into this skill are positioning themselves at the top of the economic food chain. They're the ones who will manage the algorithms, curate the outputs, and steer the direction of entire industries, while others are replaced by the very data they struggle to manage. The goal is not to know more, but to understand better. In the age of abundance, the bridge builder is always the most profitable person in the room. Intellectual leverage, built through the disciplined synthesis of information, is the single most effective way to decouple earnings from hours worked in a modern era. If this changed how you think about high-income skills, the next video breaks down how the world's most successful family offices protect and grow that wealth once it's acquired.